Your phone rings and it's instant panic. No text warning, no context, just ringing. Then you ask yourself, who died? What did I do wrong? If you screen every call like it's a potential crisis, you're not alone. You're just allergic to surprise human interaction. Today, we're breaking down the psychology of people who get anxious when someone calls instead of texts. The one society calls difficult, but science calls something way more interesting. Here's the thing. Phone calls are what psychologists call synchronous communication. Real time. Both people present, no pause button. Texts are asynchronous. You read, you think, you respond when you're ready. Phone calls demand instant processing. Hear the words, interpret the tone, formulate a response, speak clearly, all while managing your own emotions and reading theirs through audio alone. It's like being pulled on stage mid-thought versus being handed a script to rehearse. Your brain is juggling working memory, auditory processing, and social performance simultaneously. That's not you being difficult. That's a genuine cognitive load. And here's what people don't understand. Texts give you control. You choose when to respond, how to word it, what tone to use. You can reread what they sent, delete your draft 17 times. Think about whether that exclamation mark sounds too enthusiastic. Phone calls have no undo button, no time to organize your thoughts into something coherent. For people with ADHD, anxiety, or who are on the autism spectrum, that processing time isn't a luxury. It's how their brain works. Think about the difference between texting someone, "I need to think about that," versus the awkward silence on a call when you don't have an immediate answer. They're just breathing, waiting. Texts announce themselves with content. You see the preview, you know what it's about. Calls are mystery boxes that demand you open them right now. For brains that need predictability, that's not just uncomfortable, it feels like an ambush. Now, society loves to romanticize, just pick up the phone. Treats text preference like you're cold, disconnected, avoiding real conversation. But younger generations grew up with asynchronous communication as the norm. It's not avoidance, it's linguistic evolution. And here's something people miss. Preferring texts often means you're a more thoughtful communicator. Studies show written communication can be more precise, more emotionally intelligent, more considerate. You have time to choose words that actually say what you mean instead of fumbling through a live performance where you say "no, yeah, totally" 4 times, and neither of you knows what that means. Wanting time to process before responding isn't weakness, it's self-awareness. But let's talk about when it crosses a line. Do phone calls make you anxious? Or does all real-time human interaction feel impossible? If you're avoiding important calls from your doctor, your boss, loved ones who need you because the anxiety is too high, that's different. That might be social anxiety disorder, not just communication preference. Ask yourself, are you protecting your processing style or are you hiding from connection? One is peace, the other is avoidance. But for most people who hate calls, it's not pathology, it's just how they communicate best. Here's what this actually means about you. Preferring text means you value clarity and precision over speed. You're not broken. You're just wired for prepared communication over spontaneous performance. That relief when someone says, "Can I just text you back?" The comfort of a voice note as middle ground, letting calls go to voicemail so you can gather your thoughts before responding. Those aren't coping mechanisms for a defect. They're signs you communicate better when you have a moment to think. You're allowed to say, "I prefer texts" without apologizing for it. You're not antisocial, you're not difficult. You're just someone who processes language more effectively when you're not performing it live. Hit subscribe if phone calls still make your heart race. And be honest, do you answer calls from unknown numbers or does everything go straight to voicemail? If you want to understand the psychology of people who never post on social media, the last video is going to make even more sense. Click it.